Hey, welcome to our final video series in this home seller guide. And we're just going to kind of wrap things up here. We're going to talk about maybe what's the most important thing that you should do from a meeting standpoint and a financing standpoint. My name's Travis Andersen. I'm with Peter Lindquist, a great mortgage broker. Let's get started.
Travis, we've talked a lot in this series on selling your home. Why don't you just give us kind of an overview of everything that we've covered so far?
In that first video, we talked about preparing your home for sale and kind of that first meeting that we have. We went on to talk about pricing your home and the commissions that realtors charge. We talked about marketing, showings, and feedback. And I got a really great video where you talked about different financing options.
Let's put it all together, capsulize what all is needed in selling your home.
I think for people who have not yet sold a home or you're in the market to sell your house, really, it's getting that first meeting scheduled. I think that's the most important thing. And we sort of touched on it, Peter, but I think you and I agreed that we would sort of wrap up with the importance of that first meeting. Because what we're going to do is we're going to spend a lot of time figuring out how we're going to make the move happen. And we have many different circumstances. Some people buy a home first and then they sell the home. I've got a client doing that right now. Some people own a second property and they're selling, their two-story that they raised their kids in and they're moving to the cabin or something like that. Obviously, some people are selling a home and they have no place to go in mind. And then there's all these different scenarios kind of in between. And so getting a really good understanding about that planning process, what is it that we're going to do? Are we going to have a home first? Are we going to list and then find a home? So figuring that out is really the most important piece of the entire puzzle, because then we can back everything away from that. And then we can build our plan around that process.
And the problem with not planning is you get yourself stuck in situations that you make unusual financial decisions because you're stuck. Hey, I found a house and I love it. I'm going to buy it. Now, can I afford it? And now we figure out how you can afford it. But realistically, was that the way you wanted to approach this? So I really like your thought about planning. The more time you can take with Travis at the point of just being in the beginning before you go out and find a house, that's realistically a critical part of this whole process.
And again, everybody's scenario is a little bit different. And very often we're recommending a little bit of work be done on the property. Sometimes we're not recommending much, but there's a period there where a lot of times we're preparing the home for sale. And in that home preparation time frame, that's when I really like to have my clients call you, Peter, and have a better understanding about that next move. Even if they're not obtaining a mortgage, for example, it's good to talk to somebody who does the mortgages or a financial advisor or something like that to really get a handle on the financing.
Travis, I think too often people might feel like they're super well qualified. And why talk to the lender first? Well, a lot of times it has to do with monthly payment and what is realistic in today's environment. You might be looking at online calculators that are, exaggeratedly low. And now you have gone through all this work with Travis, you've done your improvements, and now you talk to me and you find out you don't want the payments. And I think that it's a really good plan that soon after you meet with Travis in the early stages, is that we engage in a conversation to talk about what that next step looks like financially.
The market's being different today than maybe they have been. And many sellers, the average home seller today, age-wise, the average home buyer is 38 years old. The average home seller is in their 50s. Some of these people have owned real estate for 20 years or even 30 years. And so it's drastically different today than maybe what they expected beforehand. Even to the tune of another realtor opening up a lockbox and touring the home with their client. I have some clients of mine that are like, well, you're not going to be there at every showing? It's like, well, no, that's not really how it works anymore. We could arrange for that to happen, right? But it isn't kind of the general process. So even having an understanding of all of those pieces are new. Well, the financing is extremely different today than it was maybe even 5 years ago, or especially 10 years ago.
And the financing process is so very different. So let's get through a pre-approval subject to the sale of your home, or if you need a bridge loan, let's talk about all of that. We've covered all of those kinds of things in this video series.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that we maybe didn't go through, right? Like there's negotiating purchase agreements and what happens with price reductions and stuff like that. And obviously, all of those things are for another video. But I think at the end of the day, what we would want every seller to know, home seller to know, is that why don't we schedule a consult? Let's get a really good understanding about the value of your home and sort of the range of value that we might expect in any given market. And then let's get a good understanding about how you might make that next purchase happen, whether it be the financing or using a bridge loan or something like that. And then from there, then we can go to work.
We can really summarize this by saying that selling and buying, it is something that you really need to study and understand. And you need to take some time in order to get through it. We highly suggest before you go find your next home, start with meeting with Travis and talk about that entire process. Start with talking with me so you'll understand what you're getting into. Once that is all your foundation, now you can make really logical and good decisions going into your next property. This is, after all, one of your biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Having your ducks in a row, as they say, is really the best plan.
Look, if anybody has any questions about the home selling process or financing your next home, obviously, reach out to myself or Peter. And as always, all my best to you and yours.